There's healing at the well.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Good News Report. I'm Pamela D. Marshall, your host for the Good News Report. Because I spent the majority of my career as a journalist, and one of the things that they said in the newsroom was, if it bleeds, it leads, which means as you watch regular news, you're going to see the negative things that happen in a community. I don't know who came up with that, because there's so many good things that are happening in our communities across the country every day. So welcome you to the Good News Report. Thank you so much for being here with us. Listen, I attended a candidates forum Saturday for the candidates for Alachua County School Board. And let me tell you, we have some incredible people who are running, but you only get to vote for one of them when you live in their district. And I was so excited to answer the call as I sat there thinking, I gotta share these people with everybody else because the conversation was wonderful. So I came home and decided I'm gonna do a good news report. Earlier today, we heard from candidate Sarah Rockwell. And today we are so excited to hear from none other than Hunter Miller. Hunter, thank you so much for being here on the Good News Report.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited about this.
I am too. And Hunter, you needed to stand up when you were answering your questions during the forum, but I hope you'll be okay seated for your interview this afternoon.
I came prepared with a standing desk, so in case I ever need to stand up, I can just elevate right up.
Oh, cool. That will be fun. That will be fun. So listen, you are running for school board. You're 27 years old. You're a math teacher, algebra, and all of that other stuff. Do you teach geometry also?
I do not teach geometry, no. Just Algebra 1, honors, and pre-algebra.
Keep watching. There you are, Hunter.
Hi. I think we got a little bit disconnected there.
Yeah. So you were saying you teach?
I teach Algebra 1 honors along with pre-algebra in 8th grade over at Howard Bishop Middle School.
So what do your students think about you running for the school board?
My students are like, I still see their parents every once in a while when I'm out canvassing, and they tell me like, oh, our students cannot stop talking about you running for school board. They talk about every time you post something, and they're like, I'm just living rent free in their mind. And I remember last year before the school year ended, my students were like, Mr. Miller, like one day when you become a governor or something like that, you need to like, we're gonna be like, whoa, we know that guy. And I'm like, let's hold our expectations low. I'm just running for school board. That's all I'm trying to do here.
Well, it's really
they're stoked.
Well, I'm sure they are. And you know what? I bet that is motivating them, or did motivate them during the year as they learn, because they're now engaging with somebody that they see in another other than a teacher.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of those things where you think you know your limits until you're like, let me just try to reach a bit further and see what I can really do with my life, because you want to do great things, don't you? Everybody wants to do great things in their lives.
Hunter, you know what I'm going to do? As you're talking, I'm going to pop out so that we are not requiring more of this bandwidth than we can get, because it's kind of stormy in my area. So
okay.
Yeah. So tell those who are watching, and thank you everybody for joining us. Please share, and I love to hear your comments as we're talking to Hunter Miller, who is one of the candidates for District 1. Let me just say that all of the other candidates have been invited. Gabriel Lopez and Janine, who is the current incumbent for this position. So tell us why you decided to run.
So I'm just a eighth grade math teacher over at Howard Bishop, and over the course of a couple of years, you just notice things. I'm noticing teachers leaving the profession because they aren't happy with the support they're receiving, which is in some cases little to none. I'm seeing the students I'm getting are struggling in their literacy. Some of them can't read the assignments they're getting. So at that level I'm at right now, eighth grade, it's tough to remediate that. And I'm seeing that people generally may not feel safe at our schools. That's one of the reasons many parents are taking their kids out of our schools, is because they're worried their child might get in a fight or get in the middle of a fight. So I'm not one to kind of sit around, kind of just feel hopeless and think, oh, oh well. I've tried to make those changes in my school, but I'm realizing that the changes that need to be made are systemic, and so they need to happen at a higher level than what I'm trying at right now. And that's my ultimate goal. I'm seeing the way things are, and I'm saying, you know what? Hey guys, things can be better. We can make it better.
Hunter, how do you think as a school board member you can make it better for those teachers who are feeling frustrated?
So overall, I think one of the hugest things is many teachers don't feel like they have a line into our district. And I'll be honest here, I haven't, as a teacher over the past couple of years, I haven't felt that communication from me to the school board. So I'm hoping, I'm sorry for my cat, she's just so loving right now. I'm hoping that when I'm on a school board, I can visit those schools and check the classrooms out, see actually how it is on the ground, in the trenches, as it were, and make sure that I'm actually out there talking to teachers, because teachers deserve to be heard. I am already looking at my schedule. I'm trying to figure out how can I visit all the schools at least once a month, because I thought one a day, but then there's over 30 schools in our school districts. I can't do that. So I'm gonna try to see multiple schools in one day. But overall, I want to be that direct line to our teachers and vouch for them when in some case they may feel silenced.
So, Hunter, if you're elected, do you leave the school system?
That is a good question, and is the biggest heartbreak of this campaign. If I am elected onto our school board, I cannot teach in Alachua County. I
Mhm.
tried to see if I could work around it by volunteering as a teacher, but nope, I can't even volunteer.
Oh,
So
you cannot volunteer either.
no, I can't. I looked at the law because I'm like, oh, there's a little workaround. I don't mind not getting paid as long as I can teach still. Nope, can't do that. It's just that conflict of interest that exists. So when I would get sworn in November, I would need to step down or quit being a teacher the day before.
Really?
It's
So,
honestly one of those things where I'm probably gonna be in tears.
yeah, so you will, the election, if you win the primary and then November, you would be halfway through the school year with some of your students.
Yes, and my goal is to make sure my students are set off on a good path before I leave, including making sure that the teacher that takes over for me isn't jumping into a disaster, but has those has that classroom culture built up for them to feel welcomed. It's it's sad. I don't like thinking about it too much.
Okay, we won't. Let's talk about what can happen. Carrie Rose Wells, thank you so much for watching. And one of her recommendations is improved professional development opportunities where teachers can learn from one another. You mean that's not happening?
So one cool thing that's put together by teachers every year is called Elevate Ed, and I've heard it from several teachers, and I think about this myself. I've been to several trainings from our district. They are all right, they can serve their purpose, but I've never felt more effective learning than from those teacher hosted, uh, I guess, small little classrooms at Elevate Ed. It's Elevate Ed is a little event that happens at the end of each year where
Mhm.
teachers volunteer their time to say, "Hey, I want to teach about this little part. I want to teach about classroom management or grading styles or something like that." And it's not hosted by a district. It's held by people like me, people like our teachers of years. And so I would love to see more of that happening, where we have teachers from our classroom helping each other because we know directly what it's like. We know that when we are putting forth these new initiatives, we see the little things that aren't working or are working. So we are best equipped to teach it to other people.
Well, what a novel idea. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Carrie says she helped organize it in 2022, 23, and then um, teachers need to see each other
Oh,
teach.
I fully do agree with
Wow.
that.
I mean,
Uh,
listen. When you look at sports, would you ever imagine the Gators preparing for the season and not looking at videos of how other teams have played and how they played the previous year? Who would think that that was a good idea?
yeah, it's no, yeah, the PD department hasn't cut back significantly. Yeah, it's tough. The cuts are being made all the time, and it's. I remember when I first started teaching in Alachua County, I got to tour around other classrooms, and honestly, even when I was just like teaching, I would still take my planning period just to go to other classrooms to see how they would do things. Because as a new teacher, you even as an experienced teacher, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So
Yeah.
when you visit other classrooms and see what they are doing in their classrooms, you're like, "Whoa, that's a great idea. Why am I not doing that? Like, why do I not have a classroom tracker or behavior barometer or this is a really good reflection sheet?" And I see they're taking that one-on-one time with their students and even their tier one instruction. I love the way they're scaffolding it. It's having that modeled is such a vital part about learning.
Well, and, when you're able to interact with as I said before, a little stormy weather, and unfortunately, the storm can impact our streaming signal. Hunter is doing a great job in answering it, and please stay with us. Just because it pops out, stay
I'm
with
not
us. Don't
leaving. I'm
go
not leaving.
away.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm used
yeah.
to
I want
talking
to
to nobody.
tell your fans and supporters not to leave either. Hunter is a candidate for Alachua County School Board District 1. Those others who are running in the race have also been invited, and we'll be interviewing them as well. One of the big things, as we listened on Saturday at the forum at the villages, it was really well attended, and kudos to those who organized that. One of the things that is watching how many times we change school board school superintendents.
I apologize. It might help if yeah, I'm sorry. You're cutting out quite a bit, so I don't I'm not quite catching it. Um
Hunter,
Hi.
okay, we may just do this again. But what I was saying is, I've witnessed how many superintendents that we have had over the last 10, 15 years in this community. What is it, if you are elected, what is it that you will be looking for in the next superintendent for Alachua County Schools?
So our next superintendent, I'll be honest here, there's two very important things that need to happen. All right. First off, our teacher morale at our school level, and I'm sure even faculty morale, talking to custodians, talking to food workers, morale is so low. So we need to make sure our next superintendent is focused on supporting our faculty, making sure that they feel wanted by the district. Because in some cases, we have teachers leaving because of that very reason. They don't feel
Hmm.
like they are being appreciated. So we need to make sure that we are training and retaining quality teachers here in Alachua County. We're competing with charter schools and private schools. And second thing is, uh, there's like 15 things, but second biggest thing is literacy. We have a huge achievement gap here in Alachua County. I want our next superintendent to be experienced in closing achievement gaps like that in other counties. I don't want to see numbers. I want to see how they did it. So the goal is to get and do a national search for our next superintendent. We want to make sure we're attracting the best of the best, and to do that, we need to make sure that our school board is positive, is supportive, because if we are going to be hiring somebody to take over our schools, they will not want to come work for us if we are being negative all the time or being toxic to our district staff and superintendent. I'm not sure if I'm being heard or if
I am so disappointed. Say that again. Listen, here's something good that you can see as a former ACPS teacher and current UF employee based on it so far. Well, there you got at least two.
I'm listening, but I'm not having much come through. I apologize.
Hunter that gets this technology, and maybe you can come to my studio.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
Lisbeth,
I love being in person.
keep talking.
Yeah, okay, okay. Okay, I see you, Miss Elizabeth. So I can talk. I'm not sure what the prompts would be, but overall, yeah, our next superintendent needs to make sure that they are caring for our teachers, because again, we're this year, at least in my school, we were struggling. Morale was low. A lot of people wanted to leave the profession, and they would have left if they had a job lined up that they can just jump to. So teachers want to feel heard. We want to feel like that we're being cared for. We're not just operating as a big business, as it were. So that's my goal. I want to make sure that we have that supportive environment for everybody.
Hunter, let me tell you what I'm going to do. As you're chatting, I'm going to. So it's amazing that you say that teachers didn't feel heard. I cannot imagine having to work and here. Carrie asked to speak more about increasing literacy skills, beginning with K, but also through high school.
Yeah, I can speak upon that. I hope I'm not talking over you right now. I can't hear you, but I'm hoping I'm not talking over you. But yeah, no, literacy is the most vital part, because when you increase literacy, especially at the base K through 2 foundation, it affects every other subject. It's almost like magic. Studies have shown that time and time again. So how can we do that? It it's not fun, but it's called reallocating resources. We have literacy coaches. I want to make sure that we always have that ever presence in our early grade education. But of course, we still need a support through middle school and high school. So I want to make sure that when we utilize our literacy coaches, that they're modeling the kind of instruction they want to see. Right now, we have a thing called instructional empowerment happening that's being rolled out slowly but surely. That's something the coaches need to make sure that the teachers know how to do by heart, because we learn by seeing and by doing. So having extra help in our classrooms will help. And we need to focus on it. I'll tell you right now, I've talked to plenty of people from the PK Young school. They say that, UFly is nice, but you know what's better? The science of reading, phonics based instruction. That is the golden goose that we need to make sure we're emphasizing and expanding upon in our classrooms, because, if it works, it works, and we should be using that everywhere we can. But then again, I am a math teacher, so I am taking everything. I'm no expert in ELA or literacy and reading, so but I am seeing that the numbers are kind of pointing in the way of phonics based instruction, and making sure that when we hold back kids, for instance, we're not just making them retake the class. That does not help them. What helps is actually having that remediation there. It's making sure that the reasons why they fell behind, we are kind of targeting those and helping them in that area. Because we have kids retake the class over and over again, they're going to keep getting that same F over and over and again.
Hunter, you're teaching math. So
Yes.
how do you help a student that arrives in your math class who can't read?
Oh, yeah, no, it is tough. Because in math, there's not a whole lot of letters. There's, X, Y, and Z. But but the
But they're
goal
reading
is,
problems. Some problems you have reading problems.
yeah, we have quite a few word problems. So the goal is kind of just breaking it down. A sixth grade teacher was in the chat earlier, and she can say that there are methods we can use to kind of help focus the kids on specific parts. I believe the acronym is called CUBES. Circle the numbers, underline the question, and make sure that you're not being distracted by all excess distractions. And what helps a lot of kids too, because I've had honors kids even where they read the problem and they can't understand it. But if they hear it, they're like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. So having that multiple pathways to success is important. You wish everybody can read, understand everything immediately, but you need to make sure that they can actually retain that information. And if they got to hear it along with read it, so be it. That's the best way for them to learn.
Hunter is one of 3 candidates in District 3 for the position with the Alachua County School Board. Hunter, and the early voting starts Friday. The primary election is the 18th of this month. I just want to encourage everybody to vote because this is critical. We are talking about people who are going to be making decisions about the workforce. We're talking about people who are helping to make decisions about who takes care of you at the hospital, at the gas station, in the nursing home. This is a critical role that you stand in. What is it? What is it that you're doing to help encourage people to? You're out campaigning. What are you doing to help encourage people to vote?
I'm going door to door, helping them. Students have to use a domain specific. Carrie, you're absolutely right. Sorry, but
No, go ahead. You can talk about that if you like.
No, because it is tough. Because with math, we do have to make sure. Because I say variable, and the kid's like, "Cool, what is that?" Like, "Oh, it's a letter." So you're having to connect kind of those two together. Because in math, we use words for different things. It seems. We have standard form, which there are several different equations. That's going into math, too deep into math, but we want to make sure that there's that clear communication from me to the student. And that includes making sure we share the same vocabulary. And that's a huge part of math. And it's one of the biggest struggles we have is making sure that a kid can tell the difference between an equation and an expression. The kid knows what a constant is, a coefficient, a variable. It makes that learning so much easier because they're not wondering, oh shoot, hold on, where do I look for a variable? They have that muscle memory, less in their working memory to worry about.
Maybe there needs to be a vocabulary class before math starts. Listen, my husband was at Publix getting some turkey. He asked for a quarter pound. The young man behind the counter asked, "What number is that?"
That sounds
it's
about
reality.
Right.
It's reality.
Fractions are something that is huge to overcome in math, because throughout every student's career, teachers keep telling them, hey, do decimals, they're a lot easier. Do decimals. And when they get to pre-algebra and algebra, I'm like, guys, decimals are worse than fractions. Trust me on this. Like, fractions are so nifty because there's no craziness. There's just one number over another. And so that's one personal thing that I wish wouldn't happen is that there's this fear being ingrained throughout a child's mathematical career of being fearful of fractions.
Well, and we used to talk about a long time ago getting the reading, writing, and arithmetic, and somehow we have moved further away from that to testing. Carrie says even as simple as some product difference. Basic
Yeah.
language, and she had a similar problem with 1/3. Let me tell you something else that you had better not do unless you know the exact amount of change you're supposed to get back. Nobody can count money either. You know, if I did it, my bill was like, let's just say $3.57, and I give them $5, and they put in, I gave them $5. But if I found the 57 cents, and the person, I gave them the change, and they were standing there with the change in one hand, and the like, and I was like, don't worry about it, just give me the change back. I mean, there are people standing behind me who want to check out. They couldn't do it. They could not do it, Mr. Math teacher.
No,
They couldn't count
it's
back the
so
money.
tough. Uh, it's that overwhelming knowledge, and in math, the part of the goal is to take that. I know it doesn't seem complex, but take that. To them, it was complex. Take that complex problem and break it down into just individual parts and seeing what they can understand. And there was that one thing that happened where I'm not sure what restaurant it was. Maybe it was Burger King or A&W, where they were selling was it a third burger, third pound burger, to compete with the quarter pounder, but nobody bought it because they thought that the third pound burger was less than the quarter pounder.
That's wrong. Goodness. I hadn't heard about the third pound burger. I can't wait to tell my husband about that. Nobody wanted the third pound burger. They wanted a quarter pound.
Yeah, but I will say one thing that helps me with our students at least is they do like thinking in money. Where if I tell them, hey, 48 plus -16, they're like, that makes no sense. So I'm like, all right, what if you have $48 and you're gaining $16 in debt? And they're like, oh, well, that's 32. Like, yeah, you just got to think about it in the way that helps you best.
Well, Hunter Miller, the goal of these interviews is
we got off topic a little bit.
Huh?
We got off topic from the campaign thing.
No, we are on topic because I want people to get to know candidates on the other side of these patent answers. And so I hope that this has given people an opportunity to see you as whatever your character is in what you bring to this position, if elected as the District 1 school board member. You teach every day. You have shared what it feels like to be in that spot, what it feels like to hear from your fellow teachers, what it feels like to hear from your students. Why does that make you a better person to fill this position in District 1?
So it's tough making change. So when everything's at rough, at my school, I never once thought to run away from the problems. If I felt like beaten down by anything, I would go home, have my moment of, hopelessness, and then I'd come back the next day with a game plan. At my school, I've been heavily involved. As soon as I could be, I was heavily involved in every committee I could be on to make those differences in our school. PBIS, steering committee, discipline committee, and the unofficial field day committee, because I want to do what's best. I'm not running because I know I want power or anything. I want to teach, but I want to make sure that my friends can also teach. That everybody, no matter if I know you, if you're different school, different zip code, that you are being supported at your school and that students are receiving the best education they can. And that's my whole goal going into teaching, was to make that difference. And it's the best way I saw fit.
Hunter, hey, Carrie Rose Wells, would you like to co-host? She says, what do you think your gaps are as a candidate and areas that you need to learn more about? That's an excellent question. Thank you. And I hope everybody else feels free to participate. I think this is wonderful, wonderfully engaging, and it gives the audience member a chance to be a part of finding out more and asking questions that they want answers to. So what do you think your gaps are as a candidate?
So one gap I have is that, I don't know what it's like in every part of Alachua County. I've been going to the Eastside Gainesville very recently, going door to door, kind of seeing what they're experiencing over there, and a lot of it is lack of communication. A lot of it is not feeling, they are being treated fairly by our school district. I don't know what everybody in Hawthorne or Archer or Newberry may be going through at all times. And so that's one thing I'm trying hard to do is being present in those communities. It's making sure that I am always there to listen to any problems or issues they may be having, or just let them vent to me because I want to make sure they're heard. So that's one thing I want to make sure I'm doing. I want to make sure that I am there to represent all schools, not just where I live. And finally, I mentioned earlier, although I'm campaigning hard on literacy, I am a math teacher. But from talking to reading teachers and language arts teachers who, believe it or not, they know what they're doing, I can see what the best steps to encourage the superintendent to go in that direction is, which I've seen is the science of reading and having that, at least for math and science, having that more interconnected curriculum.
We're going to go a little over, Hunter, if your time allows, because of the technical difficulties that we had at the beginning. The next question that Carrie Rose has is areas you will need to learn more about. What are those
So,
areas?
of course, I probably do need to learn more on the literacy area. I'm no pro on it, and I would like to be. And let's see if we can handle budget. We
No, what do
handle
you think? What do you think that you'll be able to bring as a math teacher? I heard yesterday that we have the CFO for the Alachua County School System. It does not have a math background.
so. Oh, this is something that bothers me a bit. The CFO doesn't bother me. What bothers me is, and I don't want to go negative, but I feel like on a school board at times, people may not be speaking based on facts and instead of speaking based on how they feel about things.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm a math teacher. I deal with black and white numbers. So, I want to make sure I bring that balance of community engagement and facts in our school board. Our CFO, I don't know him too well at all because I don't work for a school board. But although he didn't get a background in math, he has been working with budgets in his previous job, so he has that work experience to back it up. And if you watch the school board meetings, he has found several inconsistencies in our budgets in the past. He's gotten us caught up and found he's like, hey, this report wasn't filed, or like this isn't being done. So he's finding those problems in our school board, and now that they're coming to light, people are saying, hey, this guy doesn't know what he's doing because a lot of problems being brought to light. No, he found those problems.
Okay.
So
Fair.
and also in the school board, I'm trying to push for positivity. And if you watch the school board meeting, there is a lot of toxicity. For instance, the superintendent themselves said, listen, I'm not sure you guys can get another good superintendent. The reason being is because Alachua County is well known around other districts for our, at times, dysfunctional school board. A lot of arguments take place there. And in some cases, our own district staff members get attacked. That's ridiculous. We need to be supporting everybody we can, and we make sure that our next superintendent wants to come work here. They need to look at our school district and be like, you know what? The school board members, although they don't agree all the time, they're very respectful, they're very civil. They're not trying to find those gotcha moments on district members, and they're being very respectful of each other. That's what I'm looking to bring. Civil discourse. I'm looking to make sure that we're looking out for what's best for the community and what's best for our public education. Finding that balance is important.
Hunter, Carrie says is if you want to talk about literacy, she'll be glad to connect with you.
I'd love to. It should be easy to find my Facebook.
and on the supervisor of election page, they have everybody's information, everybody that's running for something that you can be emailed, and on your Facebook page you can be messaged. Carrie Rose Wells. Hunter, as you are looking, I would like for you to look at that question again. I asked this question while we were having the technical difficulties. What is it that you, when you talk about this superintendent that you're going to have a search for, uh, what do you think that person needs to bring so that there is civility, just
Uh,
simply at a school board meeting?
so one huge thing is transparency and communication. I've said it at the forum, and I've said it at plenty of places where I want our school board to be so transparent and communicate so much with our community that they get annoyed by how much we communicate with them. I want the school board to be a window. A lot of times, some school board members, and I'm not calling anybody out, some school board members maybe like making these decisions that they feel is obvious, but they're not explaining why they're making them to the public, and so the public's just seeing like, oh, this decision was made for who knows why. We got to make sure that we're being loud and proud about why we are doing these things, why we're making these decisions that may be tough or may be very easy to make. I also want to make sure that our superintendent, again, puts teacher support first and foremost. In order for us to close that achievement gap, we need to stop this constant turnover of teachers. It is tough to train a teacher. It's really easy to retain one.
Mm.
It's more cheaper too. So if you want to, make our school grades higher, that's how you do it. You have amazing teachers who are being provided effective professional developments and not just PowerPoints.
Hunter Miller, candidate for District 1, Alachua County School Board. Why is it that voters should vote for you as opposed to the other two candidates?
So I entered this race as a teacher, and I'm continuing this race as a teacher. If for some reason all three of us were to lose this election, I'd be the only person still working for Alachua County Public Schools. And that's because I'm not running out of any negative feelings. I've never once been wronged by the district. I'm just saying that what we're dealing with right now can be improved. I'm seeing hope when a lot of people are seeing darkness. And I'm seeing that these changes can be made. They're not difficult changes to make. We just need to make sure we have some people in there with hopeful common sense and saying, hey, the most obvious path is that correct path.
Always cheaper to retain teachers than to hire new ones. Hunter, it has been such a pleasure to hear from you today. I enjoyed hearing from you as well as the other candidates at the forum. Thank you for carving out time. I know this is your first day back at school.
Oh yes, pre-planning has started. Back to school. I am so excited. I we don't have to say it too much, but like we get bored over the summer. Like we every day at school, it's a constant on. We're answering 1,000 questions a day, and then when summer starts, we just sit there and we're like, now what?
Hey, so what are the other teachers saying to you about running for school board?
So I've had a lot of support from my fellow teachers, especially the teachers in our civics department and social studies department. Go figure. I have one of them helping me canvass every day because they tell our kids, guys, make sure you get involved in politics. And he knew he would be a hypocrite if I was running and he didn't help me out with my campaign.
Ah,
So no, the teachers are very supportive, and I love it. I always got to remind them, hey guys, I can't talk politics on the school grounds. Outside, yes, but while I'm here, just teaching, just Mr. Miller.
well, Mr. Miller, thank you for being here today. Thank you. You know, anytime somebody runs for office, it is becomes a huge part of their every waking moment and probably some of your sleeping moments.
No,
So
it is. It's my life is a whole lot more different now. It's no longer just teaching and then going home to do what I wanted to do.
going home, play with
Now,
your cat.
yeah, my Roxy Codone. Uh, no, it's purely now making sure, am I making sure I'm communicating with people effectively? Have I reached out to this community yet? Have I been here yet? What do I need to do now to make sure I stay in this race? And it's a constant, it's constant.
Well, thank you for carving out time. Best of luck to you as you're starting the new school year with your students. And good luck to you as you continue your work on the campaign.
Thank you so much for having me on this podcast. I really do appreciate it.
And because this is the Good News Podcast, regardless of what happens on the 18th of August, please stay in touch. We love to hear about what's happening in your classroom with your students. Or anything that you would like to share after being elected as a school board member. We want to tell the good news. As I said at the top of the show, I've been in news all of my life. And what you see on TV is mainly the negative things. And that's why I decided to start this Good News Podcast. And for all of you who are watching, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sharing the good news. And as you move about the day, you make it a point to be somebody else's good news. Thank you again so much for watching. I'm Pamela Marshall at the Wellness Radio TV. Remember, there is healing at the well. Make it a fantastic moment, and we will see you next time. Hunter, thank you so much. Take care.
There's healing at the well. At the Wellness Radio TV. There's healing at the well. Live a whole, powerful, strong, loving and harmonious life at the Wellness Radio TV.